Hey everybody, thank you so much for joining me today. I am so excited to help you make some quick and easy freezer meals that are gonna help you get dinner on the table on those nights when you feel so busy. Okay, I have some questions to ask you. So number one, do you ever feel like there's maybe not enough time in the day to make dinner? Or number two, maybe, have you ever felt burnt out of coming up with new ideas for dinner? I know that I have. That one's something I struggle with. And number three, do you have picky eaters that make it hard to decide on what one meal to make to feed your whole family? If you've answered yes to any of these questions, I hopefully have your solution today. And for us, for the Six Sisters, it comes in the form of freezer meals. And so we are so excited that you're joining us, that you're interested in prepping these simple meals and being able to serve them to your family for dinner. So with the sisters, each of us have a couple of kids, anywhere from 2 to 5 kids, and the age range of all the sisters' kids is from 0 to 15 years old. So we've got a big age range covered, but then we also have picky eater husbands. So between that and even our cute mom and dad, like, we feel like these recipes will work for any family of any ages, of any picky eater status. Since 2012, we have been sharing recipes on the internet, and we are up to over 100 million people who have visited our site. For the past 12 years, we have published at least one new recipe every single day, and we are up to over 3,700 recipes on our website, which is wild. So we know that you guys want those easy recipes, and we're glad that you trust us when it comes to what to feed your family. So let's dive in. Let's get started. Today we are making 5 easy freezer meals. These are some of our favorites, our tried and trues, ones that we have used and loved forever, and we're excited to share them with you today. So if you want to stay and watch this whole presentation, you'll be able to get the recipes from that, but also know we will be sending you all the recipes so you can print them off and make your own with the instructions, and then also with the instructions on how to cook them in your Instant Pot and how to cook them in your slow cooker, because depending on what you have in your home, we want to make this simple for you. So we've got both Instant Pot instructions and slow cooker instructions, and that email will come after you're done watching this presentation. If you don't see the email right away, be sure to check your junk folder and your spam folder, because a lot of times it will go there, or send us an email, help@sixsisterstuff.com, and we'll help you out, make sure you get them. So we're gonna jump right in. Today, we are starting with our black bean and corn salsa chicken. This was the very first freezer meal I made, and I shared it on our website back then because it was brought to me by a neighbor after I had a baby, and I was so appreciative. This is my introduction to freezer meals, but we're gonna start with some frozen chicken, 1 to 2 pounds, depending on the size of your family. So I have 6 people in my family. I have found that 1.5 pounds feeds 6 people pretty easily. You can easily do more, or if you are feeding less, just like 1 pound of chicken will easily feed 4 people or make 4 servings. So just tailor this to fit your needs. I'm gonna do about maybe 2 pounds, just because I like to have leftovers. That's my favorite part. Okay, so what I used is actually just some frozen chicken. It's still completely frozen, and you saw I added it using tongs just to make it easier. So I've got my chicken in there, and then there's just a couple of simple ingredients we're gonna add. So the first ingredient is a can of black beans. It's rinsed and drained. So go ahead, dump that into your bag. Now I'm using gallon-sized freezer bags, and that's what we recommend. It will be in the instructions that we email you, so just be watching for that. And I'm also using a freezer meal bag holder. We'll include a link to that if you're interested in buying those. And then I'm gonna add a can of corn. So go ahead, dump that in. And that one was drained as well. And then I'm gonna add just a cup of salsa. So use your favorite kind of salsa. You can use any heat level that you want. If your family loves heat, go ahead and use a medium or a hot salsa. It's gonna work great. My family, we've got to stick to mild to keep everybody happy. But just go ahead and dump that in. Now, a cup of salsa, I did a little bit more, we love salsa, is only about half a bottle. So you can just eyeball that. The last ingredient we're gonna add is just a bag of taco seasoning. You can make your own if you've got your own homemade version, or if you buy it in bulk, awesome. But you just need 1 packet of that seasoning. And just like that, our first meal is done. So like I said, we will include the instructions on how to cook this in your slow cooker and your Instant Pot. And when you add this to your Instant Pot, you're actually gonna add a half cup of water because you need some water in there, you need liquid to help it come to pressure. But like I said, all the instructions will be in the printed versions of this. Now this is an easy one. If I was making this for my family, I would probably make 2 of these because you saw how easy it was. While I'm already dumping in cans, I might as well just make 2 because that means 2 dinners are done and ready to go. So that's our first one, is the black bean and corn salsa chicken. So we're gonna go to number 2. And while my cute assistant, my daughter, is gonna hand me all the things I need, I want to talk to you a little bit about our freezer meal membership. So if you like recipes like this that are super easy to throw together, you are gonna wanna check out our freezer meal membership because you'll get an email each month with 10 brand new recipes that are exclusive to the membership, and some that have never even been published on Six Sister Stuff. And you can view them on your phone, you can view them on your laptop. It's a digital product, or you can print them out. And I'm actually gonna have my daughter, will you go get me the binder of all the recipes? I love physical products. I don't know about you, but like a cookbook, I love to read cookbooks, like the actual physical cookbook in my hands. So you can print off the digital product, thanks, and put it in a binder. So what I've done with all of our recipes that get emailed to you each month, I just put them all together in a binder. And so you can see the instructions. We've got directions for how to assemble it, and then how to cook it in an Instant Pot, how to cook it in a slow cooker, and how to make it just for an everyday meal. Like, that's the thing. Even if you don't want to use freezer meals, use these as freezer meals. These are just great dump and go recipes. So if you want to check it out, I will include a link to the freezer meal membership. And we're going to jump in to recipe number 2. So we are going to be making hamburger vegetable stew. I started with a really easy freezer meal to just get you started in the dump and go feeling of how to make a freezer meal, but now we're going to jump into one that is loaded with vegetables, and it's so good. So here is inside this bag. I added 1 pound of ground beef. And I actually cooked it up already with an onion. So this one you are gonna want to cook the meat in advance because then it cooks so fast in your slow cooker or Instant Pot. So I just took a minute yesterday, cooked it, and then I just stuck it in my fridge because I knew I'd be assembling freezer meals today. Also, make sure you write what it is on the outside of the bag, just so that you know exactly what it is. After it's frozen, sometimes it's hard to identify what actually is in the bag. So write that on the bag before you make it. So I added my ground beef, cooked with the onion, and now we're gonna start adding some vegetables. It's a vegetable soup, it's gonna be loaded. So I have 1 green pepper and 1 red bell pepper that are diced. Now these, because they're gonna cook in an Instant Pot or slow cooker, are going to be pretty soft, but that's the way I prefer it in a soup. So we've got bell peppers chopped up, and then I have 3 ribs of celery that I chopped up. You can go as big or as small as you want, but they are gonna cook up really soft in the Instant Pot. And then I have 4 red potatoes that I cut up. You can also use russet. I think the recipe actually calls for russet potatoes. Just whatever potatoes you have on hand. Yukon Gold would work great. I have a brother-in-law that has a potato allergy, so they sub sweet potatoes, and those work great too. So whatever you have will work great for the potatoes in this recipe, or you can leave them out as well. Okay, so let me get all those in the bag. This one is going to be a very full freezer meal, so be aware. You're gonna need a big bag for this one. Okay, we're gonna add in some garlic. Now we just need 4 cloves of garlic chopped up. When I make freezer meals, because I'm trying to do it as quickly as I can, I'm a busy mom of 4 kids that owns a business and I'm working, so quick and easy is my jam. I actually use this jarred minced garlic, which is really convenient when I'm making these. Just go ahead and dump in the 4 teaspoons or half teaspoons of garlic. And then we are going to add 1 bag of frozen mixed vegetables. These are completely frozen, no need to thaw them out because you're just going to freeze them again. So go ahead and dump those in. You could also add that in the day that you cook this, but I like to just have it all done. That just makes my life a lot easier. Okay, let's see, what's next? We are going to add 2 tablespoons of Worcestershire sauce, or Worcestershire, however you want to say it. I sometimes we just call it the W sauce. It's just easier that way. We're gonna add 2 tablespoons of that. So just add that in on top. And then we've got 1 can of Great Northern beans. You could also use pinto beans. You could also use kidney beans. You could use navy beans. Like any beans that you have will actually work great in this. I prefer these ones. I like the white beans. And then let's do seasonings. So I went ahead and got all the seasonings ready just to make this easier. But let me tell you what's in here. We've got 1 tablespoon of sugar, 1.5 teaspoons of seasoned salt, or you can just use regular salt. We've got 1 teaspoon of black pepper, 1 teaspoon of Italian seasoning, and a 1/2 teaspoon of red pepper flakes. I promise it doesn't add heat, it just adds flavor. So I highly recommend adding the red pepper flakes. We're gonna go ahead and dump that in on top. And then to top it off, we're gonna add 2 bay leaves. And after you're done cooking this, you're going to want to remove those bay leaves. Just nobody likes a big bite of bay leaf in their soup. Okay, so we got that completely done. Let me put all of this back on so we can take it away from here. Now, like I said, this one is fully loaded, so be aware of that as you're trying to zip it up and close it. Okay, so this one is going to freeze solid. And what I like to do is make sure when I freeze it, kind of freeze it in a ball shape, because I want it to be able to fit inside my Instant Pot frozen solid. So be aware of that as you're freezing it. Try to make it the shape of your Instant Pot. You could even freeze it inside the pot of your Instant Pot. And then once it takes on that shape, you can get your pot back out of the freezer. But be aware of that. And when you take this out of your freezer, all of our freezer meals can be cooked from frozen solid. No need to thaw ahead, all frozen solid. So you're gonna put this in your Instant Pot and you're gonna add 4 cups of beef broth, or you can use beef stock too, that will work too. You're gonna add that in, and guess what? In your Instant Pot, this only takes 12 minutes to cook because you already cooked the ground beef. So basically you're cooking the vegetables and then you're just heating it through, letting the flavors meld together. But such a good one. In your slow cooker, let me tell you how long this one's gonna take. It is going to be 5 to 6 hours on low. So this is a good one when you are gonna be gone all day. There's just nothing better than comforting soup to eat at the end of a cold winter day. And we eat soup year round, so. Okay, I'm gonna have my daughter hand me the next one. We'll switch out. Okay, and so the other thing I forgot to tell you, if you join our Freezer Meal membership, and even in the free printables that we send you today, we're gonna include some side dish recipes to make with every meal. I know that I'm not the only one that struggles with side dishes. In fact, that's something that you guys ask for a lot. Or what do I serve with this? What would be yummy with this? So that's something to think about with our Freezer Meal membership. But I just wanted to talk to how many of you are empty nesters or maybe have small families. Our mom went from cooking for 8, because there's 6 kids and then my mom and dad. She went from cooking to 8 to cooking for just 2. And it was this really hard mindset shift of getting used to cooking these smaller meals. And so we introduced her to freezer meals, and it was actually just this year that she started prepping them for her and my dad. And she loves them, and what she does is she takes the recipes that we make and she cuts them down in half or even sometimes thirds, because it's just the 2 of them and they don't need a ton of food. And so that's what's great about these recipes. They are all very easily cut in half, and the Instant Pot time, cooking time doesn't change, and most of the time the slow cooker time doesn't even change. So if you are a smaller family or an empty nester, these recipes are still gonna work for you. Just cut them in half and cut them down smaller. It's been fun to watch her do that, and we were like, okay, what's your favorite thing about making these freezer meals? And she said, I love that it gives me more time to do even more things that I love, and like playing with her grandkids. So it's been fun. Okay, the next one we're gonna do is Kahlua pork. Now this Kahlua pork is something that you can get at a lot of Hawaiian barbecue joints. We love to smoke Kahlua pork. It's so good. You can serve it over rice, or one of our favorite side dishes to Kahlua pork is a creamy macaroni salad. And let me just look and see what side dish we recommended for you. Yep, the creamy macaroni salad. So in your email that you get with the instructions of how to do these recipes, that one will come too. So this one's so simple and it is so full of flavor, and Like, you won't believe how easy it is. So we start with a pork roast. Now, I bought a huge pork shoulder, and that, with the prices right now of groceries, this is such an inexpensive cut of meat. And I actually bought a 7-pound pork shoulder, and then I cut it in half because I'm gonna make 2 things with that pork shoulder. So 2 things of Kahlua pork. So I went ahead and just added the meat in there. It's raw, so don't worry about cooking it. Just picked it up from the grocery store like that. And what we're gonna do is we are going to add 2 ingredients. The first one is sea salt, and then the second one is liquid smoke, which this is something that you can find on the barbecue aisle at the grocery store. It's only $1 or $2, but it adds so much flavor. Absolutely necessary for this recipe. So it is something you'll have to buy, but we have a ton of recipes on our site that use liquid smoke because we love it. Let me go ahead and open this up. I forgot to open up the salt. Do you think you could grab me some scissors, please? Okay, I'll put my daughter to work on opening the salt because it's a brand new container, but we're gonna add the liquid smoke. So it calls for 2 tablespoons of liquid smoke. I actually just kind of eyeball it and just add it in. I like the pork to be completely doused in this liquid smoke. But if you want to measure it out, just 2 tablespoons is what you need. And then we're going to do 1 tablespoon of sea salt. And if I can open it, there we go. Let me do the sprinkle one. I'm going to sprinkle it in. So you can just use regular salt. You don't have to get the sea salt if you don't want to. I just like that it's a little bit bigger, I don't know, grain of salt maybe? I don't think it changes the flavor very much, but go ahead, add in at least a tablespoon. You can do more. Now, sometimes when I make this, I will rub in the liquid smoke and the sea salt, but today, because I'm trying to keep my hands clean, as I make all of the recipes, I'm not even gonna worry about it. I'm just gonna keep it like that. Go ahead and close it up. Now, I know this sounds silly because it's like, wait, I can make that? Like, why are you prepping this meal ahead of time when it's so simple to make? And here's the thing, I love having meals like this completely ready to go so that on those nights where I'm working, I can text my kids and say, hey, will you throw the Kahlua pork in the Instant Pot? Just throw it in, add half cup of water, you're good to go. Because the hard work is already done and the meal is planned out. So even though it's just 3 ingredients that I'm adding, like, I just love that the work is done. So in your slow cooker, this is gonna cook from frozen for about 8 to 10 hours. This is the perfect one to have when you are gonna be working all day long. So keep that in mind. Also in your Instant Pot, I like to cook it from frozen. Let's see, you do it for how big the roast is. So a 3-pound roast, you're gonna cook about 30 minutes per pound, so 90 minutes total. And then I like to let it just sit on keep warm for as long as I can, for like even 3 to 4 hours, because that just makes the roast so tender and fall apart. I do love this over rice, and I top it with all kinds of vegetables like peppers and cucumbers and tomatoes, and some people have pineapple with it. You can top it with whatever you love. My husband loves to add banana peppers, jalapenos, so just kind of a fun, super versatile meat. Some people love Kahlua pork pizza as well. Super good. It's just a really good meat dish to make. So we'll move these out of the way and move on to the next one. Shout out to my cute assistant that's helping me. Thank you. Okay, let me get this all set up. I need the garlic, I don't need the salt. Okay, so next we are going to be making Mongolian beef, and that's something that we think that's kind of fun about our freezer meal membership. You'll notice a lot of the freezer meals that you find on Pinterest or on other blogs, they're kind of all the same. It's some chicken and a couple of ingredients, and they all kind of taste the same, they look the same. We have such a wide variety of recipes that use different cuts of meats, and you can tailor it to what you need and make it a little bit more versatile for what your family likes. But we just have a huge variety of flavors and recipes, and we are happy to say, like, they really are picky eater approved. So the next thing we're gonna be making is Mongolian beef. I love this. This is something that I love to make for neighbors, like if I'm gonna take somebody else dinner. This is something that my family loves to make and enjoy and eat. So I'm gonna show you how easy it is to make. So what I have in here is a flank steak, which is usually a pretty inexpensive cut of steak. It's usually pretty big. It comes in like a 2-pound usually 2-pound size, and that's what I have in here is 2 pounds of flank steak. And you're gonna cut it into 1/4-inch strips, which I hurried and did before we started the filming. So I added that into the bag, and now we're gonna add 2 cloves of garlic. So going back to my minced garlic jar, just add in, I think 1 clove of garlic is equal to a 1/2 teaspoon let's look on here. 1 teaspoon is a clove of garlic. So I'm gonna add a titch more. You can't go wrong with garlic, right? Okay, so I've got the garlic added, and then I'm gonna add 1/2 cup of soy sauce. Now, soy sauce, I like to use the light soy sauce just to cut back on sodium a little bit, but any kind will work. If you're gluten-free, I know that there's gluten-free options for soy sauce. Just use whatever is best for your family. So I added that 1/2 cup of soy sauce. And then, of course, to equal out and balance out all that salty savory, we're gonna add some brown sugar. So we're gonna do 2/3 cup of brown sugar. What's fun about this recipe is we've had other people make it. The biggest compliment, I guess you could say, is that it tastes like a restaurant to them. It tastes like something you would get that tastes like takeout. So this one's super easy and it's so good. Okay. Then the next ingredient we're adding is ginger. Now, if you want to, you can use fresh ginger if you want to grate it and add it in, but I find it so easy to just add ground ginger. All that you need is 1/2 teaspoon, so just a tiny bit. I use ginger a lot in baking. I like it for like Christmas cookies and holiday stuff, so I always have some ground ginger on hand, whereas I usually don't have fresh ginger ready and available. You use what you have, and both will work great. Okay, and just like that, this one's done too. I'm gonna give it a good mix. Now when you close these up, you wanna try and get as much air out as possible. And like we talked about, you're gonna want to try, you can freeze these flat. If you are short on space in your freezer, you can easily freeze these flat. And then just defrost them for a minute before you add it to your Instant Pot or slow cooker so that it's the right shape. Or if you can't squeeze it into your Instant Pot. But if you have the space, I highly recommend trying to freeze it kind of in a circular shape if you're gonna put it in your Instant Pot. Slow cookers are great, they're a little bit bigger, can kind of take on any shape. But there's that with our Mongolian beef. Okay, and so when you cook this, you're going to add a 1/2 cup of water for both the slow cooker and the Instant Pot. And this is all included in the printable recipes that you are going to get. But then, after it's done cooking, you're gonna make a little, to thicken up the sauce, you're gonna add a little bit of cornstarch to a little bit of water. Then you just mix it in with the liquid that the meat has been cooking in. And then you'll serve it over rice with some green peppers on top, green onions sliced. And then you can add some sesame seeds on top if you wanna be all authentic like a restaurant, but super good. The meat just falls apart. It is so good. And that's why we love these freezer meals. Like, we're so proud of these recipes. They're just tried and true family favorites. Okay, we are on our very last recipe. Can you believe it? Now, this is one that we love. If you love Greek food, you're going to absolutely love this. This is our Greek beef, and you can use it on pitas, you can use it on salads, you can make it in a wrap, you can serve it on a sandwich. But it's so good and just kind of has that Greek flavor. It's a really subtle flavor, like it's full of flavor, but it's not overpowering. So my kids love it, and they just eat it on pitas with some cheese and they're good to go. I love to add all the vegetables. Like, I think in the recipe, yes, we include the recipe for our homemade tzatziki sauce that goes with it. That's so easy. So don't worry about that. You're gonna love it. Let's get started on this. So I am using just a 3-pound chuck roast. Chuck roast is usually an inexpensive cut of beef because it does have a lot more fat in it, or I don't know, it maybe is a tougher cut of meat. And what's great is cooking it in your Instant Pot or your slow cooker, it can handle that tougher cut of meat. It can handle because it goes low and slow and just cooks it till it falls apart. So get that inexpensive beef roast, and we're gonna add it in here. And then I just chopped up 1 onion. I'm gonna go ahead and add in that. And then to go with all the flavors of Greece, we're gonna do some olive oil. So I'm gonna do a 1/4 cup of olive oil. Go ahead and dump in that. I need just a touch more. Okay. And then we've got 4 teaspoons of minced garlic, or 4 garlic cloves. I'm gonna add in a lot. I love that Greek food uses a lot of garlic, so don't skimp on the garlic. You're gonna want it for this recipe. I'm actually gonna use all the rest of that. That worked out perfect. Okay, so we've got all the garlic added. And then we're gonna do, let's see, oregano, a teaspoon of oregano. And these should be all ingredients that you use in your kitchen a lot. We don't like to use ingredients that you're gonna use once and never use again, because we just don't have time or money for that, or space to store all these weird ingredients. So promise our recipes are simple and things that you'll use again and again. Okay, let's do some lemon juice. We are gonna do 3 tablespoons of lemon juice. I think that fresh tastes really good, but also this jarred or bottled lemon juice works great in a pinch. So just use what you've got and don't feel pressure to have to go buy 3 lemons or whatever you need. Just 3 tablespoons is all that you need. And the bottled stuff works great. Okay, we're gonna add in a 1/2 teaspoon of salt and then a 1/2 teaspoon of pepper. I'm just gonna eyeball it. You can measure it out if you want to. After doing this for so long, you kind of get an eye for what is going to be in each one. Okay, so we've got our salt, our pepper, lemon juice, oregano, garlic, olive oil, onion. That's it. So easy, so good. And just like that, we are 26 minutes in and we have 5 dinners prepped and ready to go. I don't know about you, but I'm feeling pretty good about this. That's basically all my dinners for next week, and I've made enough that I have leftovers to feed my big family of 4 kids for the rest of the week too. So I think that is everything. As far as what to serve with this, we recommend our homemade rice pilaf, which is so easy in your Instant Pot. And then also like some oven broiled asparagus, which is so easy. It takes 3 minutes and it's such a good, quick and easy side dish. So those links to those recipes for side dishes will be in the email that you get with the printable instructions. And then just know that if you love these easy freezer meals and if you love getting these recipes in your email and you want simple, easy, fast recipes that your family will love, we would love to have you join our freezer meal membership. So let me tell you what you're gonna get. You get 10 new freezer meal recipes every single month. And then you get the instructions for how to assemble them. You get the cooking instructions for both the Instant Pot and the slow cooker. You're gonna get a shopping list to take to the grocery store. And let me grab you this binder and remind you that it's a digital file, but you can also print it off and keep it all in here like I did, just because I love the convenience of having a physical binder. And plus I just print off all our favorites and I can make them again and again. But here's our shopping list so that you can buy the ingredients to make all 10 of these at once. You saw how fast we prepped 5. What if you had 25 more minutes and can prep 5 more? And suddenly you have 10 meals done. Like, I don't know about you, but I love having my time back and I need it. What else are you gonna get? You're gonna get a side dish idea for every single recipe. And then, oh, I forgot to tell you my most favorite bonus of all. We take our favorite easy shredded chicken recipe that you can make in your Instant Pot or your slow cooker. And then we came up with 30 different easy recipes that you can make with that shredded chicken. So cook the chicken, throw it in your freezer, pull it out on a busy night, and suddenly you have 30 different easy recipes that you can make with that shredded chicken. It also works great with rotisserie chickens if you want to just grab a rotisserie chicken. So you're gonna wanna check that out. Oh man, I feel like I'm gonna sneeze. It's probably the pepper that was in my hand. So all those things, it's a one-time fee to join our freezer meal membership, and that will buy you in for 1 whole year. And you'll get those 10 new recipes over each month for the whole year, which gives you 120 different recipes by the end of the year, plus the 30 recipes that come with the easy chicken thing. So it's 150 recipes that are easy, that are fast, and that are picky eater approved. So you're gonna wanna check those out. But let me just ask you, going back to those questions that we talked about at the beginning, if all that our freezer meal membership did was just give you back a little bit of your time, would it be worth it? Or if all that our freezer meal membership did was give you tons of new ideas for dinner so that you don't get burned out coming up with new ideas, would it be worth it? Or if all that our freezer meal membership did was make meal planning easier for you and kind of gave you some meals that you know picky eaters would like, would it be worth it? And if you've said yes to any of those, you might want to check it out. Freezer Meal membership from Six Sisters Stuff. They've changed our lives as busy working moms, and we know that they are helping so many families out there. Everyone who's already joined is loving it. We're up to over 2,000 people who are using our membership, and we'd love to have you join us too. So you can be part of our Freezer Meal family and just make family dinner happen. So you'll want to be sure to check that out. I'll include a link to the email, but go ahead and see if that's something that would work for your family. But thanks for joining me today. Thanks for making these easy meals with me. You'll have to let us know if you try them, if you like them, and if it's something that you feel would be fun for your family. But I hope that you guys have a wonderful day and happy cooking. We'll see you later.